going back to reactive targets, this is an original Terrier mark that you could buy, and these size of these is supposed to be 24mm. They're 23.4, but they're only thin, they're not very thick, at 3.12. I would like to make mine a bit thicker than that, around about 9mm. 6 to 8 or 6 to 9mm is quite a good thickness, especially if you've got a reasonable power. And I bought this on internet. This is a mould you can buy which is about the right size, and you can put these sticks in like that, and if you don't want to put a stick in, you can put a bit of thin cord in like this. You can buy the sticks anyway, but if you wanted something that you could hang up, you put the ends together, wet them, make them wet, and then you stick them together a bit better like that, and they'll stick to the bottom, and then you can hang them on something. But if you're using the sticks, they will make a target like that, so you can actually push that in the ground. Or if you get a piece of wood and drill some holes in it, you could just drop it in the wood and stand them up, and when they're shot, just replace them with new ones. Because you can buy these moulds quite cheap, so you could buy 3 or 4 and cast a lot in one go. You'd have to keep you going for a good afternoon. These are the original ones I did, but the size of these is a bit bigger, so you can put these out quite a range depending on how confident you are. 46mm virtually, but again the thickness 8.5mm. If you make them too thick, they might not react too well unless you've got a lot of power. I bought these on the internet, so you can make a mould of these. There's a frog and a panda. You can see the size of these is still quite small, 22mm just under on the width, and the height is 28, and the frog one is 24.5mm high and 21mm wide. You also get these other little small targets, but you could put them at closer range. But if you're going to make them out of plaster of Paris, you would glue these on the bottom of your mould. Glue them close together like that, and you could mould quite a few at a time. Then you put them in rows, you'll cast that many at a time, but you have to make the silicone mould like I showed you on my previous video on YouTube. So we'll put them to one side for now. But the other thing I was going to mention is that target shooting is not a very spectator sport. Like, target shooting is not very good for spectators unless you do these ones I did previously and you put them on a nail that ain't got a big head. That way you can just bang the nails in a piece of board, slide them on, not too close together, and then when you hit them they'll shatter quite well. But if you want to make it a bit more interesting so that spectators, because I've seen it done, and what you can do is you can put these on a board and you can put 10 on a board, and it could be just one person trying to shoot all 10 as quick as he can on a stopwatch. Or you could have a team, so you put like 4 people and put 30 up or 40 up and see how long it takes them to shoot all the targets. Of course when the last one is broken, that's when you stop the stopwatch, and that can be really good fun to watch. But it's just to make it more interesting when you're shooting, to have a bit of fun in the afternoon. Also on the internet I bought these little rabbits that you could also make a mould of, a few different shapes, and again you can make a mould of 20 or 30 of them by gluing them into your mould cavity. So you cast 20 or 30 or 40 at a time. That way you make the silicone rubber mould like I showed you on my previous video, and it's, you know, it's something to do and make it more interesting. But the Spectator one I was talking about, I'm going to do that soon, where we're going to put a few of these up on a target, on a card, shoot them by a stopwatch and see how quick it takes, and I'll be putting that on YouTube when I've done it. So if you like and subscribe, you'll be notified as soon as it's on YouTube, but it'll take me a week or two to do that. These are the sticks you get with the other mould. They come with a packet of sticks as well, so you can put them in there like that. But very cheap on the internet, so you could buy 4 of them. I can't remember whether it was £10 for 1 or 2, but even at £10 it's not really dear for a good mould. It's a good size, because if you look at the size of these, this is the corded one I've done. The OD of these is still a good size, it's just under 35mm. So at 50 yards is still quite a demanding target. Unless you're laying down, of course, prone. If you're shooting on a shooting bench, of course, it ain't quite so hard. But if you're standing prone, that would be a challenging target. But it's just to make it more interesting for an afternoon bit of fun. If you want to make the cords up for these, you can buy this in your local cheap shop. I bought 3 of these for less than £2, so it's ever so cheap. If you cut off 1 metre or whatever length you require, double it up, then cut the end, and then double it again, hang it down so you get the same again, and then cut it again. You can do quite a few go quickly if that's the length you want, or if you want it shorter than that, you can double it again and make it shorter. But I'm going to leave these that long because that's the length I want. Because you can, if you do them long, besides just doing one of these, you could wet it first so it makes it stick in there a bit better, and then put it in the next one and wet it and stick it in there. You can do that way. You can cast them 2 and they'll be on one piece of string, and if you're on a bit of wood that's 3 inches 2 inches wide, they'll be that far apart to shoot at. When you're putting these on a board, don't put them too close together. You want them 1 inch or so apart so that you don't get affected by the shattering of one, don't break the next one, which you don't normally, unless they're very thin. But you can make these as thick as you want or as thin as you want by how much plaster you pour in the mould. But that's all explained on my other YouTube video.